All right, apparently we're live. Welcome to In the Garden with Jake Hughes and Gideon Marlatt. You just took a big gulp of water there. That looked really refreshing.
It was.
Yeah.
It felt like I was drinking right inside a Coke commercial.
Drinking water in a Coke commercial.
I don't know. Well, those Coke does it the best, but those commercials where they drink it and they're like, I mean, that just looks euphoric.
Yeah.
Just that one
They put the
sip.
glass down and it's like, oh yeah. That's exactly what you're going to be experiencing if you buy the Coke.
Hey, they on Coke. Have you seen those?
Speaking of Coke,
well, have you seen? I think it's Coke, but have you seen the new like advertising thing that they've been doing, where it's like they have different actors going for like famous actors go in front of the screen, and they go, so I'm supposed to do like this is acting, and this is acting, and they give you all these like I'm supposed to show you anger, like this is acting, or I'm excited, this is acting, and then they go. And now here's Coca-Cola. And they take a sip and the actors go, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they turn to the camera, or was that just acting?
I think I saw that at the Super Bowl. I think it was a Pepsi ad.
A Pepsi ad?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was with Ben Stiller.
Okay, now I have to look this up.
Yeah.
I thought it was Coca-Cola, but it's almost like they're just, it's like, so now you're being open about lying to us.
That's what actors are. They're professional liars.
Pretty much.
In front of a camera. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get into the topic of the actual topic of today's episode. This episode contains spoilers for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Viewer discretion is advised.
Run away!
Recently, Gideon and I watched a movie that I'm going to just go out and say it. It's the best animated movie of the year so far. I mean, the year's not over. So the movie came out December of last year, and it kind of blew my mind, and it blew a lot of people's minds.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you've probably guessed, we're going to be talking about the latest Puss in Boots called The Last Wish. This movie exceeded a lot of my expectations. I feel like I'm talking about Cars 2 again because it's basically the exact same thing. This is our second movie review, and we've done two movies that have exceeded my expectations.
Well, wait, does this actually beat Cars 2?
I'm tempted to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We were talking about just like favorite Pixar movies, but favorite animated movies, The Last Puss in Boots is up there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it got like 95 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes,
which is the highest. Yeah, which makes it the highest rated Shrek movie out of all the movies in the Shrek universe. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish got the highest score.
Hey, it's a dang good movie.
It's really good.
The audience score is 94. So for one of the first times ever,
6% of the audience.
I don't know if this is one of the first times, but this is a rarity that Rotten Tomatoes actually agrees with their audience.
Yeah, that rarely happens.
There's been movies on Rotten Tomatoes that you're just like, really? Mm-hmm. That gets an 85? Why? We're talking about a crap movie. It's gotten a 34 with its audience. And they're like, no, that's an 85.
You can generally tell with like movies that are trying to be Oscar bait. You know?
Exactly.
They have all the qualities of something that's worthy of getting an Oscar.
I know,
just like a depression or a heroin addict. That automatically boosts their score, Yeah. Oh, Carter's showing us the movie Saving Christmas. Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. It has 30% audience score, 0% on the tomato meter.
Hey, that's impressive. Yikes!
It's
0% and a 30%.
That movie hits close to home for us, so we have kind of a history with that movie.
Not me.
Not well, me.
I distance myself from that.
I know the guy. I know the guys who put that movie together. So anyway, back to Puss in Boots. Let me read a summary of what we're dealing with here. So when Puss in Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll and he has burned through 8 of his 9 lives, he launches an epic journey to restore them by finding the mythical last wish. Sadly, Puss in Boots, the undaunted Spanish lover and hero. Why would they put that in there? The undaunted Spanish what now?
Spanish lover?
I never thought of him in that way.
Wow.
He's now down to the last of his 9 lives. This is a decade after the events of the first Puss in Boots, which came out in 2011. And as if that weren't enough, the unstoppable bounty hunter known as the Big Bad Wolf. Oh gosh. If you've seen the movie, you know that the person who wrote this summary did not see the movie. If you think that the wolf in the movie is known as the Big Bad Wolf, you obviously need to do more research.
Hey, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just trying not to
not to spoil it.
I don't know. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, it is a big bad wolf. I'll grant him that, but I don't want to give away any spoilers to our audience if they haven't seen it. Go watch the movie if you haven't already. But yeah, they don't call him the Big Bad Wolf in the movie.
No.
Anyway, he's after him, and to restore all of his precious lives and to escape an inglorious fate, Puss in Boots must pluck up his courage. Wow, what phrasing was that? To embark on a dangerous quest into the dark forest to find the legendary wishing star. However, Puss isn't the only one seeking the map to the magical star. As the daring outlaw puts his skills to good use to stay one step ahead of formidable adversaries determined to get their hands on it, a crucial question arises. Does he have what it takes to face his most skilled and terrifying opponent and get his life back on track?
Yeah, baby.
You like that summary, huh?
No, they got kind of medieval. Well, they tried to, and then they failed.
The vocabulary in this summary is, I gotta say, pretty well put together.
Funny. I don't know. It's a fun movie. I mean, I'll be honest.
Go it. Go for it.
Go it.
Go it. I don't know why I said go it, but do it.
Well, this is the one time that you messed up and I didn't. So I'm going to revel in this.
Yeah, Carter's going to leave this in the episode.
Okay, I've reveled. Anyway, no, so I'll be honest. I have never actually watched any Shrek movie before this one.
This was your introduction to the universe of
well,
Shrek.
Well, it's not a bad introduction, though. I have a feeling that if this is the highest of all the Shrek universe, whatnot,
yeah,
I feel it's gonna go downhill and it's gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I'll be honest as well that I didn't care for the Shrek movies whatsoever. I know there's some people who, the Shrek movies were their childhood, but just. I rewatched the first one again recently, and I remembered, now I know how Gideon feels. We were talking about Cars 2. Just like, I remember why I've never watched this since then.
Yeah, I don't know. This just my dad warned me off.
I'm gonna get hate mail. I'm assuming.
Shrek, the Holy Grail. No, my dad warned me off of it. It was like, Gideon, never watch Shrek. It's like, okay, that's fine with me.
And since you were an obedient son, you never watched the Shrek movies. And we all thank you for it.
Half of it was out of obedience. The other half was just like okay.
It doesn't look that good anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, let's dive into a little bit of the villains in this. Carter's making a lot of sound back here. Carter has some Panda Express, which we're not sponsored by, so Carter's definitely going to have to cut this out. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about...
I thought producers were meant to not be making noise. Apparently, it's a trend of his.
Yeah. So one of the things that a lot of critics and a lot of theater goers loved about this movie were particularly its villains. There are a couple of villains, as mentioned in the summary. They're the adversaries to Puss in Boots. They're all trying to get the last wish. And these three sets of villains, they're very, very unique. And they're they can be very, very strange at times. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Let's start first of all with, they made Goldilocks and the Three Bears villains in this movie. For the first half of it, they sort of have a redemptive story arc later in the film.
Well, I think that part of the beauty of the film was the fact that they put plot twists where you kind of wouldn't expect them. Most people put plot twists like actually within the plot.
Yeah.
Most people don't embed them in the actual character. Okay.
It wasn't just out of the blue, as opposed to.
I know.
I think I know what you're trying to say, but yeah.
No, I'm just saying that most people like show, oh, hey, the hero's gonna win. Oh no, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, he is. I mean, that's just the general trend of, I don't know, superhero or just hero stories in general.
Fearless hero movies.
Yeah, but like this movie was the plot twists, while they weren't actually put in the plot, I would actually put them more in the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you watch as Goldilocks and the Three Bears go from the original villains, Jake, like you were saying, into more of like a happy-go-lucky family.
Yeah.
And then it's like that's their redemptive story arc. And then you watch, personally, I think the best villain out of them all, just because of hilarity's sake. But Jack Horner.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're not the only one.
I mean,
we need to talk about Jack Horner because
you're a monster.
Yeah.
You're horrible.
Yeah, let's talk about this guy. First of all,
finally you came around.
Yeah. What took you so long, idiot? Yeah. So the first thing we got to mention about this guy is he's voiced by the one and only John Mulaney.
You can't get a better voice.
This is like his third voice acting gig. He was in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He was in the Chip and Dale movie, which was absolute garbage.
Is it normal for animals to talk in this world? Yeah. I don't want to freak
anybody out. My John Mulaney impression it has its moments, but yeah,
freak anyone out.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job in this movie, and he deserves all the credit for kind of stealing the show.
Yeah,
in a sense, because here's the thing. Here's the juxtaposition about his character. Throughout the entire movie, his character is the most visually unpleasing character. So visually unpleasing. And you know that from his introduction. Like, you see his shadow coming into the door, and you can tell, like, this guy is up to no good. And then there's like a close-up of him eating a plum from a pie. And it's disgusting, for one thing. And it's also it plays into the
pie.
Yeah. It plays into the hilarity of it. So yeah, and his one-liners in the movie are just great. A lot of them have been turned into memes. I see pop up on my Instagram a lot. So yeah, it's yeah.
Oh, so that's what they do.
Yeah. His last wish is to get all of the magic in the universe. He's one of the villains in the story that does not have a redemptive story arc.
Well, no, he's like, ironically, he's like the most consistent villain out of them all.
Yeah,
which is cool because you the other one. So we have Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then we have Jack Horner, but then we have the Wolf, who is Death himself, and you kind of get this feeling of like Death actually revealing himself. You get hints, but you don't actually realize it kind of till the end. And I mean, while Death is kind of this villain, he's just he feels less like an actual villain, and by the end of the film, at least, he feels more like just an incarnate,
a personification of something that's to come in Puss in Boots' future. I mean, he's not, he's anthropomorphic. Right. And he's supposed to represent the idea of death.
Which is just bad in and of itself. It's not like that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's trying to be evil himself.
Yeah.
Towards Puss in Boots. he's just evil. That's just his nature, which
Mhm.
almost takes away from his villainy, because it's almost like which is one of the reasons why he's able to just walk away from Puss in Boots.
Right.
But at the same time, Jack Horner is just evil throughout
He's
the whole
evil
film.
for evil's sake.
I mean, he's just hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, he even explains, he's not doing this because he had, a past that turned him evil. He says one of his lines is like, "I never had much as a kid. I had loving parents and, a wealthy banking enterprise for him to inherit. Useless crap like that." You can tell that this guy is just evil for the sake of being evil.
I know.
He doesn't have a, like a Joker background.
Wasn't the cricket trying to talk about? He's like, "Did you have a tormented past?" Oh, well, no, I just had a.
I never really had much as a kid. Yeah. I mean, there is that flashback that he has where he's humiliated with Pinocchio to the side of him. Because, Pinocchio is going off about, I'm real boy, no strings attached sort of thing. And he's like, what the heck? I've been a real boy the entire time. And I realize we're doing a lot of spoilers in this. But,
it's jam-packed.
yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, we highly recommend it.
We probably should put a spoiler warning at the beginning.
Yeah, before the theme song. Yeah. But yeah, it's a phenomenal movie with great antagonists.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the main things that just stood out to critics and audience members who watched the film. It got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes for a reason. And this is one of the main contributing reasons. And also it goes without saying, but the character of Death in that movie is a genuinely terrifying villain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I mean,
It really pushed the boundaries of a lot of movies nowadays, kids movies especially, have really bland villains. They do. And Puss in Boots pushed the boundaries. Try saying that 10 times fast.
Puss in Boots pushed the. I can't do it. No.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots push the boundaries. Puss in Boots push the boundaries. No, it's just muddled.
It's getting worse.
It's muddled.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's do like what we did in the Cars 2 episode. Let's pull up some audience reviews. And of course we're going to go to the 1-star reviews because those are the best. They're the ones that have the most, the smartest people contributing to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to.
We want to start us off?
No, I want to go to the very first 1-star review that I found.
Okay.
It was like the first 1-star that I saw on Google reviews, but it's really horrible. It's just, yeah, it's an absolute troll. Don't listen to any of the negative reviews. It's a good movie and honestly funny in my opinion. It may not be for everyone, but just don't listen to any negative reviews. Like this is very first 1-star review. Someone was like, "I'm gonna get in early on the show."
A lot of people who went into the movie were not expecting much. You know how sequels tend to be.
Well, no, this is the amazing thing. I was talking to you earlier about the fact that like people nowadays look at movies and just go, "Oh, because it's animated, it must be for kids."
Yeah, right.
We learned that from clowns, people.
Right. Yeah.
Well, originally maybe just for kids, no longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that's brought up a lot in a lot of these reviews. Did you have more, or can I get into mine?
No, you can go into your.
Okay,
I'll find some fun ones.
So yeah, I bring it up just to bring up this username is Uncle Lobster.
Oh gosh.
So this guy is he means he's a big deal. Okay, it's titled Feline Fatigue. Puss in Boots is all meow and no bite. And one of the things that he brings up is the fact that, like Cars 2, like our last movie review, he's kind of surprised that this movie is rated PG. is first of all because of death and how terrifying he is. And some of the humor can be interpreted as more on the adult theme. There's a couple of bleeps.
That's true. Well, hi, kids.
Yeah.
I'm Death.
Yeah, so he goes on to say, this is my favorite line. I hope this disposable paper straw of a film enjoys its brief stint as the only new animated movie to watch at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Props. Here's what he says there. He says, props for passing the Bechdel test. if all else fails, bring up the Bechdel test. At least we're progressing in some ways. You know?
The Bechdel test?
Do you not know what that is?
No.
It's okay. So there's a recent, I mean, it's not really recent. It's starting with like, women in film. The Bechdel test is basically the amount of female representation in a movie.
Gosh. Okay.
It's like another Rotten Tomatoes sort of thing. It gives you like a score or a rating on a Bechdel scale or whatever,
right?
Just on how much female representation there is in the movie.
Okay.
I don't know why or how it got introduced, but it's like the thing now. I mean, it's something that the Oscars are taking into account now. It's part of the Oscars grading process, if you call it that. Yeah, which is why the Oscars ratings are dropping. Why viewers are...
Let's sneak in like 4 more ladies in the background as extras.
Yeah.
That's going to upgrade the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad. I have one. It's...
Please, enlighten us.
Prince Boba. He says...
This guy probably knows everything.
Absolutely. I mean, he speaks truth. He says, do not believe these offended people. The movie was amazing and pushes the right topic.
These 1-star reviewers are just trolling people.
It really is.
That's fantastic.
They were like, we're going to get in early on the action.
Yeah.
Goodness. No, that's funny.
Yeah. This one says, this one's from Levi0087. He gave it a 1-star review just for boots. Just for the boots. He says, I freaking hate boots. The fact they put a cat in those boots.
What the heck?
It just goes on. A lot of his spelling is not exactly correct, so I'm not even going to try to read because...
Such a troll.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
This guy is very anti-boots.
Eva? Yeah.
Eva?
It's a Russian name. I don't know. Just says, what the F was that? I started watching the movie 20 minutes and I just gave up. As I was watching, I was expecting the movie to turn back to how Puss was in his movie. And it's, what the heck? And it's Shrek, but it kept going in this cringy animation style with some weird characters. It's
cringy
just all
animation style?
So unrelatable and fake. Wow.
Well, that's all kids' movies. Eva.
Wow. No, that's she obviously doesn't know. That's we were. Carter, didn't you mention about the I mean, you don't have to answer. You just have to shake your head or not. But didn't you say that like this was modeled after the Spider Into the Spider-Verse?
Another John Mulaney film.
Well, I mean, yeah. But like that sort of animation style, which, I mean, that just blew people's minds. That was a fantastic animation style.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the film. But yeah, it's really fun.
Producer interjection here.
Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, so basically Spider-Verse just broke the mold that Pixar had created. Pixar has created this vacuum of really good, albeit stilted animated films, and Spider-Verse was the first one to break that, and other films are taking that and running with it.
Mm-hmm.
So Puss in Boots is kind of the first film in this genre, or in this family, that is now evolving from Spider-Verse. Anyway, I'll recede back to the shadows.
Well, back to the
Turns
shadows.
himself back down on the volume level.
Who are you? Your worst nightmare.
All right, well, there
by
you
the
go.
way, talking about animation and that quote, do you remember that from Mulan?
I haven't seen Mulan in a long time.
What? It's when Mushu just flies up onto the building and he's like in that cape. Don't worry, honey. I'm going to bring this back for you. He flies up and there's like the two guys with the fireworks are like, who are you? And he just goes, your worst nightmare.
I don't think I've seen the entirety of that movie. Maybe that should be the next movie
what?
we review.
Oh, that's a great movie. I mean, but that's not. It's not very recent.
I considered watching it before they announced they were doing a live action version, but then I didn't see the live action version. So
I've never watched the live action version, but
I've heard it's not great. So
I'm good with that.
We'll leave it at that. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We highly recommend, I should say what I said during the Cars 2 episode is we recommend that you highly watch it. We highly recommend that you watch this movie. One of these days we're going to have to review a movie that we both didn't like. So,
oh yeah. Thanks guys for tuning in to the In the Garden show. This is Gideon Marlatt with Jake Hughes. We've been reviewing Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Hope you guys have a fantastic night.
Adios.
Bye-bye.